Well, hello and welcome to Dan in Paris, episodes 8 and 9, a double episode of one man's attempt to become French in just 12 months. I apologise for delays in posting videos recently. That's mostly been because we've been travelling, as well as hosting some very special visitors in Paris, but more on that later in the video. And also, importantly, I've started looking for work, which is quite time-consuming. So wish me luck on that score. Well, what have we been up to? Well, as you can see, we travelled to Italy. We landed in Venice and headed immediately north into Dolomite Mountains. This is a very special place for my wife, and it's the second time that we've gone hiking there together. It's fast becoming a very special part of the world for me as well. On this trip, we spent 3 or 4 nights in 3 different towns. We started in Auronzo di Cadore, that region, and headed as far up to the Austrian border in South Tyrol. I love the way in the north of Italy you seem to shift between Italian food and culture, and then immediately everything is Germanic. You swap out pizza and pasta for dumplings, goulash, schnitzel, strudel. I ate a lot of food on this trip and really enjoyed it. We often discuss whether we could live in a place like this, and whilst it is spectacular, I think on this trip we established it's just too remote and quiet. But that's its virtue, and that's what makes it perfect as a vacation. You get out of the city, it's peace and serenity, and it's wonderful. Now back to Paris, and we continue to take advantage of all that Paris has to offer. We've been trying to get to as many museums, galleries, and events as possible. It just seems a shame not to do it while we're here in this wonderful city. Of course, it's my wonderful wife who finds most of our things for us to go and see and do. I seem to suffer from a form of choice overload, which leads to some form of paralysis. But thankfully, it cannot be said that we've been idle while we've been here. In other news, we were very privileged to get inside the Sorbonne, arguably the world's oldest university, and the occasion was a good friend from Sydney's graduation. Congratulations, Clem. I just want to shout out 1 or 2 other places we went to, in particular the Musée National de l'Histoire de l'Immigration. This is the immigration history of France. Spectacular, really recommended, in the corner of the 12th. The good, the bad, and the ugly of the history of French colonialism and the ensuing impacts on immigration. Here you see the Museum of Modern Art in Paris. Don't rush to get to that so quickly. Always reminds me of that joke, what do you get when you cross an abstract artist with the Godfather? An offer that you can't understand. And for whatever reason, that's how I tend to feel when I look at a lot of modern art these days. But the big news for us in July, August was the visit of family to Paris. My sons Henry, Connor's girlfriend Emily. It was wonderful to see them, to experience France together, and not just Paris. We got into the countryside and spent a week in a tiny commune called Utière. This is near my father's place of birth in the east of France. I want you to think of dairy country. Here you can see the cows going for milking, literally in the meadow behind where we stayed every morning and every afternoon. And that milk makes the famous Comté cheese that you can find all over the world. We brought family together on Bastille. We had nearly 26 racines that came together. We ate, we drank, and we were very, very merry. We got out and did some hiking. It was seriously hot. It was so hot at times we had to go and cool off in the local rivers, which I found extraordinary. These are normally places when I was younger traveling to this region that I saw as glacial, ice melt, didn't want to stick my toe in, but not this year it seems, during this unsurpassed heat wave that we have just lived through and continue to live through. I think they had a ball, I certainly hope so, and it was very cool that we got to see all the World Cup finals before they left, which brought all of Paris spilling onto the streets to party, which is always fun to watch. So that brings us to the end of episodes 8 and 9. Lastly, we got out to watch the solar eclipse at the Pantheon last week. Enjoy the remainder of the video. I'm going to turn the sound up. You'll see a performance, an orchestral performance of Vivaldi's Four Seasons at Le Madeleine church that we attended recently. Till next time, thanks for watching.